guys, welcome to the next video on this channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about driving. Not just learning to drive, but generally just driving in general. Also, this is not going to be like one of those really preachy videos where I'm like, everybody's got to learn to drive. If you don't learn how to drive, you're going to struggle in life. If you don't want to learn to drive, fine. Whatever. That isn't my problem. Personally, all I've ever wanted to do was learn to drive. When I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do. Drive. I wanted to be the Little Mermaid and drive a car. They were the two biggest things when I was a kid that I always wanted to do. Was learn to drive and be the Little Mermaid. And so the reason for that is because when I was a kid, I had this Barbie silver Volkswagen Beetle, and it was the coolest thing I have ever had. Like, Barbie could sit in the front, Ken could sit in the front. You could get what's the little one? Shelly. She could sit in the back, like you could just get her in there, and the boot opened up so you could have all their shopping in it. The steering wheel moved. It was so cool. It was just the coolest thing I'd ever had. And then my sister got like a really cool black sports car, and then she would like cruise, and I was like, no, okay, my Beetle is cooler, okay, far cooler than your cool sports car. Not the point. And it came with like a little set of keys for Barbie, and it came with like a set of keys for me, so like a regular size set of keys. They were plastic, and I loved these keys. Like, it seriously made me feel like a real adult, and that I had my own car, and I used to just love them. And all I'd ever wanted to do was drive. Okay, and then, so fast forward a couple of years to about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I physically went to have a driving lesson, and I was shit. To put it bluntly, I was very, very bad at driving, and I can't really tell you why I was so bad at it, but I was just bad. It was bad. It was so bad. And my driving instructor was the most patient, wonderful driving instructor. I highly recommend him. I thought he was brilliant, and he stayed with me. I only ever had one driving instructor, and he stayed with me the whole time through me having a strop because I couldn't change gear, about me hitting the curb a ridiculous amount of times, about not focusing, and he was so good, and I did it in the end. It took me 3 practical tests and 4 theory tests. I had a real issue with my theory test. People that stand there and tell you the theory test is easy are probably really good academic people, but you'll probably find they took like 5 goes to pass their theory test. So, you know, it's different for everybody. Everybody learns at different rates and paces, and what I don't get is why, if you are learning to drive for more than about 6 months, everybody suddenly thinks that that's a problem. Everybody has an issue with that. Why? Why do people have issues with you learning to drive longer than 6 months? I mean, it takes you 4 years to go to university and learn a degree, and nobody has an issue with that. Why do you have an issue with me learning to drive for 3 years? I did it, didn't I? Passed my test with flying colours, got 1 minor, I'll have you know, because I indicated whatever, because I wasn't going that way. My bad. I kind of still do that now. But I'm getting off topic. The point is that if you are learning to drive and you are taking a long time, it's okay. Take your time with it. Learn to drive. Be safe in the car. Even if you are the most confident person in the world, like me, I have a lot of self-confidence, and I will go up and talk to anybody, and I'll try anything once. But I was bad at learning to drive, and I did not quit. I didn't give up. I kept going because I really, really wanted to do this. And if that's what you want to do and you are struggling with it, please don't quit. Please don't be disheartened because you failed 1 theory test or you failed your practical test 7 times. You will get it. I believe in anybody can learn to drive. If I can learn to drive, anyone can learn to drive. Believe me. So please don't quit. If you are learning to drive and you are struggling, please carry on, because you can do it. I believe you can do it. I believe anybody can do it. Okay? Okay? Good. Motivational portion of this video over. There we go. The next part of this video is once you have learned to drive, what happens next? the first time, so I passed my driving test, did it in my own car, by the way. And then I drove to work the next day on my own, that day actually, on my own in the pouring rain, and I was terrified. It was so scary. First time I've ever been in the car, on my own. Okay, there's nobody there to stop me, there's no one there to put their foot on the pedal if I get this wrong. So scary, really, really scary. And then I had to, so then I got to work, left my car unlocked in the car park all day, didn't even think about it, and then I drove my friend home and got lost. Also terrifying. Really, really scary because I didn't know what to do. Like, I could barely I can drive my car, and I can drive my car well. If I couldn't, then I wouldn't have passed the test. But then I got lost, and then I was scared because, what do I do? I'm lost now. How do I deal with that? And then the car started fogging up on me, and I was like, how do I deal with this? And I got home, and I sat down, I shut my door in my room, and I sat there, and I was like, I don't want to drive anymore. Because it scared me. It literally frightened me. I hated it. I learning to drive. I didn't really enjoy learning to drive, but it was okay because it's what I wanted to do. All I ever wanted to do when I was a kid was learn to drive. Finally do it, and I hated it. It terrified me. I was so scared of driving anywhere. I was scared of somebody hitting me. I was scared of hitting somebody else. Literally terrified me for about the first 6 months of me driving. So a lot of people will tell you that once they learned to drive, they drove everywhere and they were upset because they didn't have anywhere to drive to today. I wasn't like that. I was scared, really, really scared of going anywhere, driving anywhere. It terrified me. I can't even tell you what the specific thing was or why, but it did. It really scared me. And then, after a while, I'd let go of that fear for after about 6 months or so. I was like, you know what? It's actually okay. Why am I scared? There's nothing to be afraid of, and I'm okay now. I think part of the reason was I used to have a KA, and it was just one of those old, banged up KAs that didn't work very well, and I think what scared me more is because that KA had so many problems, it used to break down on me all the time, and that used to scare me, that I used to, going down the road and the car just stops, someone hits the back of me. No, I've caused an accident, and that person's caused an accident, whoever's fault that is. And no, that used to scare me, and then after about 6 months, I mean, yes, I still had a huge amount of problems with that car, but I wasn't as scared anymore. I just let it go. I remember there was a point where I was driving home, I was going down the road, and I was like, you know what? Let it go. You are going to reclude yourself if you don't let this go. So I did, and now I'm okay. I mean, so I have a new car now, I have a Citroen now, which I love. I love driving, I think it's wonderful. But there are still points where I'm driving down the road, and I can see, so I'm going around the roundabout, and I can see somebody coming up here, and they're coming up really fast, and I'm like, that person's going to hit me, and then I'm scared again. Or maybe that's just the way my brain works, just the way I am, and if any of you guys feel like that, like you've been doing something for ages, and something happens, and then you're like, oh, what if this happens to me now? Our brains work overtime. Maybe it's just a woman thing. I don't know. I don't know if men feel the same way. I'm not a man. But do you know what I mean? And if you don't, then, that's brilliant, because it's a really horrible feeling to have. But, I just... Can you guys hear my neighbours talking? They're having a party in their garden. Can you guys hear them? If you guys can hear them, I apologise, that's my neighbours. So even though my brain works that way, and sometimes my brain just works overtime, I still enjoy driving. There are points usually when I'm going to see a friend of mine, and I'm driving down the road, and I'm like, I made it. I did this. I own this car. This is me driving my car to see my friend, and that's... Sorry, there's a bird doing something weird over there. Sorry. Going to see my friend and doing what I want to do. And it's a really incredible feeling. It's a good feeling. It's a nice feeling to have that. So here is my advice to people learning to drive. Or if you aren't sure about learning to drive, if you've been learning to drive and you're really struggling with it, my first piece of advice is A, don't quit on yourself, okay? Keep going. I know you can do it. B, if you're not sure about learning to drive, go and have a go. Just go and have a 2-hour lesson somewhere, and if you hate it, don't do it. But if you've tried it, no one can say you didn't try, okay? And 3, enjoy yourself. don't sit there and be terrified of learning to drive or be terrified of getting in the car because it's a really silly fear. Be terrified of something else like heights or clowns, or the dark. I'm scared of the dark, okay? Be scared of something else. Don't be scared of doing something that is going to benefit you as a person, okay? Good. This video has turned into kind of like a motivational video. It wasn't meant to be, just thought I'd share some ideals on thoughts on driving. But here you go, motivational driving video, guys. If you want to do it, do it. Don't quit on yourself. Okay? Good. Thank you guys for watching again this video. My last video, really touched with the amount of views I'm getting. Not getting subscribers or comments or anything yet, but so we're still only on video 3, so we'll get there. Oh yeah, thank you again for watching. Please tell your friends. And next week I think I'm going to do one about Mondays, so look out for my Monday video.